I read 7 books in July. Let's talk about them. First book is The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. I was going to say the Evelyn Hugo book. It follows Evelyn Hugo. She's a reclusive Hollywood starlet. She's a household name from the 60s through to the 80s. She hires little-known magazine writer Monique to tell her story. And Monique is thinking, why me? Why am I important? Why should I get the chance to tell Evelyn Hugo's story? There's a reason why Evelyn Hugo has chosen Monique, and we will get to find that out in the book. I gave this book 5 stars. It was so good, very much worth the hype. I cried a lot, so much in this book. There was just, especially towards the end, when so many sad things were happening, and they just kept on happening, one after another pretty much. And just as soon as I dried my eyes up, waterworks happened again. Evelyn Hugo does feel like a very realistic character. I think that's where Taylor Jenkins Reid's writing really shines and where her talent really comes from. I wouldn't say Evelyn Hugo is inspirational to me. I wouldn't say she's my favorite character. I respect her, I understand her a lot. I don't agree with a lot of the decisions that she has made, and I was a little worried I was not going to like her in the first, during the first marriage, because this book is split up into her 7 marriages. During her first marriage, I was a little worried I was not going to like her and I was not going to like this book. However, after the first marriage, I actually really started to enjoy it, so it did take a little bit for me to get into this book. There is LGBTQ+ representation in here, with Evelyn Hugo being bisexual and also there being gay characters in this book as well. There is trigger warnings for domestic and family abuse, so please be careful of that. And I loved seeing Evelyn Hugo mature and grow up throughout her years. Her experiences have made her who she is, and you can see her growth throughout the novel, and it was really, really beautiful to see. The Queen of the Tearling by Erika Johansen. It is the first book in the Tearling trilogy. It follows Kelsey. She is 19 years old when she is whisked from her little cottage with her adoptive parents, and she has to rule over this kingdom called the Tearling. Now, her mother had died. She was not the best queen. When Kelsey was born, her life was in danger. People wanted to kill her. Her uncle is a piece of shit, and her uncle has been sitting the throne before or until Kelsey becomes of age to rule over the Tearling kingdom. Like I said, uncle is a piece of shit, wants to kill her off because he wants to rule Tearling. And so Kelsey has to survive long enough to sit on the throne. And that's basically what the first book is about. I gave this one 4 stars, really enjoyed it. Long ass chapters. These chapters were pretty long. And it didn't help with the fact that there was a lot of times there was not a lot of dialogue in some of these chapters. It was just a lot of inner monologues, inner thoughts, just setting a scene and just you watching a scene play out without a lot of dialogue. I feel like it dragged out a little bit. It took me quite a while to read this book. I think this book takes place in a modern world, so it's either modern or urban fantasy, because there were words that I heard. There was like New London, there was America, there was Europe. What else was there? Oh, there was also technology, like modern technology. And there's a gecko. Ugh. I'm literally outside my window and there was a gecko like literally walking on the glass window. I don't like geckos, I don't like lizards. Okay, calm down now. Whew, okay. There is still a lot of mystery with the pre-crossing and the Tearling, and I think we got a bit of a glimpse of that. I'm not entirely sure. I'm guessing I'm gonna have to read the next book to find out what the hell's going on. It is a very gripping book that really left me wanting more, so I'm very, very curious to see what's going to happen in the next one, which I think with the title of the next book and also with the 3rd book in the trilogy, I think is a little bit spoilery, and when you look at the title you think, oh, okay, this is what this book is going to be about, which isn't such a bad thing at all, especially if it's done well, especially if there's things that are going to be gripping you and keeping your interest. But also, I can't exactly pinpoint where or when it happened, but I would say around after the halfway point towards the three-quarter, towards the end of the book, felt a bit YA to me. I can't explain it, but like a mature YA, but still YA. Like, yes, this character is 19, so I guess she still is classified as a young adult, but this book is in the like adult fantasy section because I read this via ebook, so it was in like the adult fantasy area and not in the YA section. And because of its brutality, I think that's why it's placed in that. But Kelsey is actually a pretty good ruler. She's mature, she's smart, she uses her head. I do think her adoptive parents really did a good job at raising her. Yeah, very, very interested to see where the series is going to end, because the third book does not have good ratings, which makes me believe something bad is going to go down. Attack on Titan volume 23 to 26. We know what this is about. I talk about it pretty much non-stop this series, but I still have to tell you what it's about, don't I? Follows humanity, the last remaining humanity, for a century. They have been living in three walled cities where they are pretty much trapped and kept in there because there are these humanoid titans walking around eating people, and they don't know why they are eating people. And one attack in particular on this city has spurred humanity to want to fight back and to want to figure out what the heck is going on here. I gave each of these volumes 4 stars out of 5. This is the arc where I have spoiled myself so much for this series in. Like, this arc specifically, I spoiled myself a lot for. I think it kind of hurt my enjoyment just a little bit. I really do, which is unfortunate, but there's still things I don't know. There's still conversations between characters that I don't know because a lot of the spoilers were memes. So I don't entirely know what their characters were saying to one another because a lot of it was memes or like funny segments or just edits of moments from this arc in the series. These volumes do jump around a lot in the timeline, and I kind of wish I had followed it a little bit more linearly, but I understand that with manga, with comic books, graphic novels, whatever, there's a bit of a time limit and you need to keep people's interests, which is why it was told in that way, and I didn't mind. I did not mind at all because we did get to see how it got to that point, and I do think we'll still continue to see how it got to that point. I just would have liked to have seen it like a little bit more linear, a little bit more clearer. I think there were some flashbacks in like the first 22 volumes, which is fine. I like flashbacks, I don't mind them. It's just with this second half of the series, between there was like a 4-year time jump between 22, like volume 22 and volume 23, which is a big jump, but the author is doing a pretty good job at playing catch up to tell you what has been happening with these characters that we have gotten to know in the last 22 chapters or 22 volumes, and what they're doing, how they're going, yada yada. I'm gonna give this series a break because I've spoiled myself so much for it. I need to stop reading this series until November, which, yes, is a very long way away, but I will be on holiday in September all the way through to October, and I already have some ideas of what I want to read in August and September up until the point I go on holiday, and I don't think I'll be reading a lot on my holiday, so I'm leaving it until November to start the series again, or to get back into it and to finish the series off. But I still need to find out what's going to happen because there's still plenty I don't know. The last book I read in the month of July, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone by J.K. Rowling. I picked this out of a jar because I wanted to reread a book, but I didn't know which one to read. I was manifesting this book. I was putting out good vibes and it fell into my hands, and I was so happy because I wanted to reread this for quite a while now. Now, I think we all know what Harry Potter is. It's about the boy who lived and he doesn't realize he's a wizard, and he learns how to use magic, and he is going to school at Hogwarts, and there's a lot of stuff happening around him or connected to him. Gave this one 4 stars. Like I said, it's a reread for me, and I still really thoroughly enjoyed it. It's still so good. For me, I feel like it does hold up still. Maybe I'm a little bit biased because I love this series so much. I've been watching it since I could remember, since I was a kid pretty much, so I might be a little bit biased in that. There are some differences between the book and the movie, and I will believe it when I see it, but apparently there's going to be a TV show adaptation, and apparently the TV show is going to follow the books pretty darn closely, and that can either be a good thing or a bad thing. Bad thing because the characters' reactions to some scenes that happened did feel a little bit juvenile. It is a book targeted to young people, I understand that, so I can forgive it for that. I believe that is it. I'm just looking at my notes, and I believe that was the only little nitpicky thing I had. But apart from, the ending did feel a little bit rushed. It is a small book, it's 223 pages, it is small. The end battle scene could have been pushed out, like extended a little bit more, which I actually do think, and I'm gonna die on this hill, but I think the movie, and I'm gonna have to rewatch the movie, rewatch all of the movies, reread all of the books, but I do think the movie did a pretty damn good job at adapting this book. I do like some of the changes that the movie has made, because some of the things that happened in here I don't think would be enjoyable to watch. I do think there are some scenes in this book I would like to see in the TV show, like the centaurs. I don't think they were used enough. The way that Voldemort looked as well, with being a little bit more creature-like with like the red eyes. So there are some negatives and some positives that the movie has done, and I'm hoping, I don't know if I'll watch the TV show, I'm gonna have to watch the trailer whenever it comes out, but I am curious about the TV show. I want to see what they do, because yes, I do think the movie has done a fantastic job at the adaptation, but there are still some things, and I do agree now that I'm a little older, I'm getting into the discussion a little bit more, that I do think and I do hope that they will put into the TV show. But with being a short book, there's a lot that happened in here. I was quite surprised, quite impressed. And that's all I had to say. I'm so hyped and so excited to finish rereading the series. I can't wait. And thank you very much for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know what books you read in the month of July. I would like to know. Have you read any of these books? What were your thoughts on them? And I will see you later in another video. Bye for now.